The compassionate perspective, and my sense of you is throughout this ordeal, you had to change your name, you had to essentially go into hiding, or at least you chose to. That through it all, though, you've maintained a compassionate perspective, which is, my personal opinion is it's far more effective. In other words, when we go into a place of reacting from the fear, which it's very easy, I mean, no one would blame you for feeling angry and wanting to blame. And I'm sure there's been moments that you've been through that. But the idea, and what I commend you for, Kathryn, is your overall perspective is compassionate.
Right.
And that's
right.
that's really wonderful, is that you've taken this, I think in terms of Hollywood movies, and I don't think, Hollywood movies love the demon, right? The idea that there's this bad guy, and this man could very easily be cast in a Hollywood movie. I mean, I can see the script right now, and yet you don't cast him in those terms.
I would never cast any human being in those terms. Because there's no black and white picture of each and every person.
Thank you.
Every situation deserves grace. Now, I'm speaking because I'm alive, right? Had I been murdered, I can't promise you that the people who love me would feel such compassion.
What you're saying? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just can only come from the fact that this man was, and I am certainly not justifying violence in any way, shape, or form, because violence doesn't have any place anywhere to me. But this person, and I believe this is true with all people who end up being violent, is somewhere the teaching of compassion didn't happen in their lives. The teaching of understanding. There's so much in education that gets left out at home and in the schools that you would think I would jump to, this guy almost killed me, and rah. I never felt that way. Even in a 3-week jury trial, I did not feel that way. I never felt that way for one day in that relationship. I was trying to save him. And help him. And I think that's the case with most people that end up staying in violent relationships. I think, yes, you can't get out because you're afraid for your life. I think, yes, you do what your abuser says because you must. But I also think that the very thing that gets people into abusive relationships, which is this openness, this belief in love and light and the ability to help another, I think that's the very thing that keeps people in these relationships.
And we don't want to cut off the open vulnerableness, and so often we do out of defense. I mean, I can just say from my own experience that much of the personality I developed, the personality was defensive, and I, as you know, Kathryn, I've spent years peeling away those layers of protection to get to the vulnerability, to reclaim the vulnerability. We surely don't want to cut that off. Listen, we need to take a quick break. Some of the things you've touched upon are so brilliant, and I want to come back to them. The idea that violence is a desperate act. I mean, this is me speaking, but honestly, if people who do acts of violence knew better, I believe they would do better. And in fact, what the call is when someone's violent, how a compassionate perspective can lead us to make more constructive choices.